Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, let's go over the market, let's go over Tesla, let's go over what has happened so far today. It was a pretty big day for the most part with the FOMC meeting today and Powell speaking at 2:30, who spoke for about 40 minutes or so. So let's go over what we see on the chart and what this means moving forward. If you guys enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. It helps a lot. And of course, this is not financial advice. Make your own decisions. Do your own research. Tesla barely closing green today, going up about 0.17%, putting us at about $160.58, which compared to the market is still an outperformance, and it has been outperforming the market pretty much all day, even at the close. But as you can see, the market did take a bit of a tumble near the end of the day. Nice little kind of rally into a tumble right back to the exact same level, actually, like on SPY, for instance, that it actually bounced from already just the other day, which is interesting to note. But moving over to Tesla, you can see kind of doing the same thing-ish, kind of back to this also same-ish level just the other day as well. But we did talk about how it did look more bullish than bearish here, at least for now, in my opinion, as long as this level held. That's exactly what we did. And it actually went from this point all the way up to the highest point today, almost 4%, which is not too shabby, and then gave up the majority of that, of course, unfortunately. But what does this mean moving forward, right? So Tesla is in definitely a bit of a peculiar position here. And the reason I say that is simply because you can see this candle right here is protruding just barely below this line, right? Which ideally you don't want it to, but you can also be a little bit more lenient like this. But you know, it's definitely on extremely thin ice right here. Now, we ideally, as if you're a bull and you want it to go higher, you don't want it to not only, of course, break this level just below it, which is like 159-ish or so, something like that, to as low as pretty much 159. You definitely don't want that to happen. But even more importantly, ideally, to really keep this kind of upward momentum up a bit, you really want to see it not only bounce from here, but continue rallying from here. Like, you really want to see a strong bounce pretty much from this exact same level. So ideally tomorrow morning, we get a gap up, a green start to the day. So it's up like, maybe, I don't know, 0.2%, even that, right? And then overall get a bit of a rally moving forward, at least for the rest of the week. Maybe it will, now that the FOMC meeting is out of the way, get a bit of bad news potentially, or uncertainty, I guess, out of the way. However, next week we do have yet another CPI data point coming in, so that's going to be a pretty major catalyst as well. But hopefully until then we can get a bit of a rally. So that's essentially what I'm seeing right now, right? If you want a bit of a rally, and we came up to this exact same level today that we've got rejected at several times already, here again today, here. We keep getting rejected at this level that we've talked about, which is extremely important, 165 to 166, right? That level is very, very important to break. Still couldn't do it even today, which is very unfortunate. But nonetheless, as long as we hold here, you want to push it up. You want to break this 165 to 166 level, and then you want to, at the very least, go up to around 167 to maybe even as high as 170-ish, right? Now, if we do somehow make that actually happen, right, you can make an argument this is also going to be a potential cup and handle pattern like this, right? That can absolutely be the case. So that's something else to consider, right? But that's assuming we actually come up to this level up here somewhere around 167, give or take, could be as high as 170, right? That's extremely important that we get there. And if we do, then I think this kind of pattern, the cup and handle, can play out, which is of course a bullish pattern. But on the flip side, if you're a bear, right, what you want to be seeing is, number one, you definitely want to see some weakness into tomorrow opening, right? You want to see Tesla opening, essentially gap down. Most likely, if it gaps down, it'll start somewhere like, right here, let's say, right? And then most likely get a rally up to here, most likely retest this, and then potentially go back down, right? That's essentially what a bear would like to see. And that is absolutely a possibility. Right now, Tesla feels like it's extremely, again, thin ice, very thin ice. They can honestly go either way, but those are the levels you want to be paying attention to, right? You can make this line yourself in your own charting and just kind of follow it closely, right? You don't need me to completely spell it out, right? You can do it yourself and follow it right here. It's a very simple process, in my opinion, for now. But that is kind of what I'm seeing at the very moment. Moving over to the daily, you can see not the best looking candle on the daily, right? You can make an argument that we are making kind of like it's like a bull flag, I guess. So another way you can look at it is like this. Let me show you guys. This. Hopefully that noise outside. There's just garbage trucks driving around left and right. It's insane, making so much noise. So you can also make an argument that it's something like this instead. Let me remove this one for now, right? That we're kind of zigzagging and chopping within this area right here. So you can absolutely make this argument that we're in this kind of, situation that we find ourselves in as of right now. Another argument you can also make is you can also argue that this is kind of like a potential bull flag, something like this, right? Or a rising kind of, not a rising wedge. I forgot exactly what this pattern is called, but essentially it continues rallying up like this, right? Kind of bouncing in the zone like this until it gets tighter and tighter and tighter, and then goes like that. Usually this pattern plays out bullish, then more so bullish than bearish. So that's another perspective you can look at, right? There's a lot of different perspectives you can look at. I personally think more perspectives look bullish than bearish as of right now. But with that being said, you absolutely cannot ignore the overall potential bearish situation that might actually play out here as well. So you absolutely want to, understand that and be aware of it, I guess, and not ignore it. You know what I mean? So that's very, very important in my opinion. But that's kind of the overall process I'm looking at, right? If we do break this overall downtrend, like if I bring this one back right here, right? If we do break through this and break below, right, you can see it's kind of, intercepting exactly where we ended right here, right? Then you really, really want this level to hold right here at 159. And if this breaks, then this thesis really starts to fall apart. And at the very least, we'll come down to retest this low over here that we just had. If not, actually finally make our way back down to even further lower levels, which I talked about, which of course is into at least the 140s, which I am hoping is the actual main bottom. But regardless of what happens here, right, even if this potential bullish, pattern or whatever plays out, right, and if we actually do get a rally up into this, overall gap fill area up here into the 170s, like we talked about many times already, right, which I still think is absolutely possible. Even if we go up there, though, I still personally believe that, it will overall still be a bull trap. I still think we'll do something like this regardless, you know what I mean? And come down to overall this kind of level, or we just go straight down from here, right? Those are the two possibilities, but regardless, if we go up first and then down, or just pretty much kind of go sideways and then down, I do believe that there is one more low to make. So, it might take some time. It might make people impatient. It might make people FOMO. It might do a lot of different things because that's what the market's good at. But I do strongly believe that there is most likely another low, at least on its way for Tesla. But at the moment, the main thing you want to be looking at is essentially this overall situation we find ourselves in, and kind of figure out, what does it mean? Where can it go from here? And really looking at those key levels to see if, those levels actually hold. Because if they do, that's great. If they break, that's bad, right? For bulls and bears, respectively, of course, depends on which level you're looking at. So that's the main thing I am personally looking at as of right now. TSLQ, of course, is another way to give an idea. You can see it is holding this overall important level, but on top of this, like if you looked at this chart, if I were to look at this chart, no bias, nothing, just not even thinking about what company or whatever it is, what ticker, nothing like that, right? This looks definitely more bearish than bullish to me. Just naturally looking at this chart, this looks more bearish than bullish, right? Not only does it look like a potential cup and handle like this, right, which is kind of potentially playing out this handle right here. Right, that's number one. Not only does it look like it's a potential inverted head or regular head and shoulders, which is a bearish pattern, right? This to me looks bearish. And if this right here looks bearish, that means that Tesla is supposed to look bullish, which is why I personally think that these patterns right here that we're setting up, all three of them technically, they look more bullish than bearish to me, right? And that even, again, further solidifies it based on how this looks to me, just naturally more bearish to me. But again, that doesn't mean it has to play out that way. You want to be open to all possibilities. I just think potentially, as long as we bounce from here and not go lower than 159, I still think there's more upside potential and potentially go even higher overall. So that's kind of the main thing I'm looking at. Going over to the VIX very quickly, you can see we once again are reaching into that 19 to 20 level once again today, right? Getting a little bit of a stronger close today than yesterday, but nonetheless, still finding some serious rejection. And until the VIX breaks 20, I don't think the market will ever find its true downfall. But on the flip side, another way you can look at it is if the VIX ever does break above 20, that could be pretty bad for the market. And that could mean trouble for the, again, broader market, which again, will most likely include Tesla. So keep that in mind, guys. That's kind of the main thing I am personally looking at right now. So let me know what you're thinking down below. But that's kind of the general thesis, the general idea of what I personally have. The 21 EMA is still well above us. We're still kind of in between the red and the white line of the Bollinger Band, kind of in the limbo land there. 50-day moving average is well above us. We have once again got rejected by the 10-day moving average, which is a little bit bad. That's definitely not a great sign. And 50 and 100 are still above us. So keep that in mind, guys. Very, very important. But this is going to be another level to look out for if we do rally from here. Potentially rally up to this level, get that rejection, maybe set up the handle in the cup and handle pattern. Potentially, we'll see. And then make a bit of a rally up above that. Probably set up a bull trap and then make our way even lower. But that's what I'm seeing, guys. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.